This week, we are going to recap in regards to the email Gia sent for the entering the point file, the Calyx point.
Okay.
Okay. And I also kind of want to go talk
Oh,
about like now going back to the point file. So when we have our file, let's see. So when we have more than one borrower, they have, if they're married, so a husband and wife, if they're married, when we create the point file, let me open this up. We'll have both of their information on that first page. So if that first page of the point file, the Calyx point, it has borrower one and it has co-borrower, right? If this loads properly. So borrower one and co-borrower, if you have them like this, it's because they're married. So sometimes we have borrowers that are not married, and we have, whether it can be siblings, brother and sister, they can be boyfriend and girlfriend, they're not married, but they are, together. If it's a mom and dad with their son, so let's say they have, this married couple has a son that's doing the loan with them, we wouldn't add it together, even if it was just mom and son or dad and son, right? We would have their credit report are pulled separately. So we have to have a separate Calyx point for them, but it's not a complete new point. So the way we're going to add it is going to go under borrower, co-borrower, and then we're going to add a co-borrower. When we click that, we're just going to add, we're going to get a complete new 1003 and then just input the information for that other borrower. So for example, if this couple had a son that's doing the loan with them, once it loads, so we'll just go ahead and put in, for example, we'll do Robert, we'll put in all the information, their social, date of birth, their contact, everything else is going to be already on here because it's part of the main page. This main borrowers, everything that's already inputted, it's because we've completed it from the main borrower. Okay.
Yep.
We do on the proposed monthly. Again, this is something we always want to double check. So for the homeowner's insurance, if it's for a condominium, this rate is going to be 0.25. If it's for a single family, this is going to be 0.35. So we always want to make sure, because this number, this monthly payment, as you can see, changes. So if we're quoting it as 0.25 and this is a single family, later on it can cause an issue because it'll affect our DTI. So in this example, it's not showing it because we don't have their information. But see this bottom DTI, this top and bottom, that's our DTI. So if this slows down and I can't just do it properly, just bear with me.
So just want to confirm while we're waiting. So the home insurance and the county property taxes, should be, we are keen in doing that because it affects the DTI as always.
Yes. Okay, so this one, see how this DTI shows at 29? So for conventional, our DTI has to be under 50%. So let's say instead of 29, this said 49, right? And if we have this at 0.35, it goes up. Once you hit save, this changed. It didn't change a lot, but it did change. I don't know if you noticed it. Same thing for county property taxes. The rate is going to be 1.25, and it's going to be, this rate is going to be for any California property. So if it's a different state, we do have to verify the rate for that state, but it will be 1.25 for California. And we always have to go with the appraised value because, again, this number will change depending on what we have. It's going to be automatically on loan amount. So whenever we input the new Calyx point, it's always going to be on loan amount. See how this monthly payment changed from 800 to 600? So if that's what it is originally, our DTI went down to 28. That's a whole percent down. If this was and then we're putting it at this amount, and then we're inputting, when we have to go back and check and we're adding the $200 extra and it goes up a percentage, it'd be at 50. So that would cause an issue. Does that make sense?
DTI should be under 50%.
Yes.
Anything that goes above 50%, does it mean that the loan is not doable?
If it's a conventional loan and it's over 50%, even if it's 50.001, because it's 0.001% over 50, we can't do the loan. It's not doable. We have to find a way to get that DTI under 50.
Hold on. Conventional loan, DTI should be under 50%.
Yes.
Otherwise, we cannot do it.
So we would have to find a way to structure this loan to get that percentage under 50.
How we usually structure that loan?
I'm sorry?
How we usually structure that loan in order for us to proceed?
So in order for us to proceed, we would have to get a homeowner's insurance that's possibly cheaper than 175. We would have to possibly pay off debts. So in the liability section, we would have to mark down some of the credit cards to be paid at closing. They would have to bring in more down payment. So it's different. There's different ways for us to be able to lower that DTI. So for example, they're going to pay off this card. We put pay off at closing. See how this changed? Unfortunately, this file, it's not the best file to kind of work regarding the DTI because this DTI is really good. It's at 29. But let me see if I can find another file where our DTI is very tight. So let me go ahead and delete this one because that's not okay. Okay. One other thing is if we do not know whether this property, see, this was at 0.25 originally. I changed it to 0.35, but it should be 0.35 because it's a detached. It's a single family.
Yes.
So this was incorrect. This should be at 0.35.
0.35.
Okay. If you are unsure what the property is, always put the higher 0.35 because that's going to let us know if they qualify with the higher amount for worst case scenario.
The way I'm doing that for the property type is I'm going to Google the property. Sometimes it says the property type, if it's detached, attached, or whatever.
So
Is this
if you Google the property, so let's Google this property. Yes, that's the best way to go about finding what this property is. But if we're going to Google it, it's in Fullerton. It won't tell you if it's attached or detached automatically. You would have to look at pictures to
yes.
find out whether it's detached or not. So this one here is a single family residence. So it is detached. So this should be 0.35. This doesn't have an HOA. If it was showing single family and this is an HOA, this would be considered a PUD. So you would go here and then you would put PUD. If this was let's find a condominium. So this property here, it's a condo, right? It has an association fee. It has an HOA. It doesn't say whether it's attached or detached on here. I don't think it does. So you would look at the pictures on the property. So it's this building right here, and it seems like all the units are attached. So this would be an attached condo because there's no wall separating them, right? Or there's no space between the wall separating one unit to the other unit. Does that make sense?
Yes. So it's an attached.
Yes. Okay. Since this is a conventional, if this LTV was at 80% or higher, or not over 80%, we would also have to add this mortgage insurance, which also is DTI affecting. So this is going to be based off of the loan amount. The rate is going to be quote. We have to find a quote. So you would go here. You would enter all the information.
What was
So let's
the
see.
website?
So it's this rate-gps.nationalmi.com. You would just put Peter's email address to get the access. But I can forward this
Yes,
afterwards.
please.
So for the quote, you would just enter their information. So the property zip code, this is single family, prime, it's going to be an investment, purchase, what amount, the DTI for training purposes, we're saying it's over, it's 85 and below. It's over 80, but it's not too bad. DTI, we'll just put 49, 2 borrowers. So we have to put in their FICO scores. They're mid FICO. So this case, it's going to be 766 and 778. So self-employed, no. You have to make sure you click on yes or no for self-employed because or else it won't run the quote. Once you hit submit, it gives you a quote. So this quote is based off of their FICO, based off of the LTV, based off of the loan amount. So in this case, you would just put this 0.422 right here or 0.42, and then it gives you the monthly payment, which should be this top number. It should match.
All right.
Okay. So if we hit save, see how this is at 29.3, we hit save, it went up to 29.9. If this was, let's say this was for a primary home and the DTI was at over 90, it changed.
So it's higher.
Yes. So I'm going to delete this because this one doesn't require mortgage insurance. So that's one thing you always want to include. Okay. Also, if it's a condo, we always want to make sure we include the homeowners association fees. So if we were looking at that property I pulled up earlier, this one, homeowners association fees were like 400 something, 404. This is also going to change this DTI.
So for the homeowners association fees, that should be on the website as always.
Yes, that's going to be whatever's on the website.
Okay.
Okay.
So what if there's no association fees on the website? Where should we look at that?
If there aren't any, you can always look for other. So this is just through Redfin. You can check Zillow. Sometimes it's on there. Sometimes it is different. See how this Zillow is the same. It was the same address, 155549 South Budlong. It was a different unit number, but this HOS is 350. Always go with a higher amount.
All right.
Because if it comes back and it's a lower amount, that's better for us. Our DTI already works with a higher amount. But if we enter this lower amount and our DTI is very tight and it comes back and it's $50 more, it can cause us to have our DTI go over 50 and not work. Okay.
Yep. Good.
Any questions?
I don't have question, but I would like to verify my understanding. See
Okay.
if I got it. So let's start with, so for the mortgage insurance, we just make sure we input the number or the figure if LTV is more than 80%. And for the association fees, we should always put that for condo. How about for PUD?
PUD. If it's a PUD and there's HOAs, yes, we have to also include it.
So that's applicable for condo and PUD.
Yes.
The higher amount, so we need to put the high amount if we're comparing different websites. Say
Yes.
for Zillow and Redfin and everything, just input
Correct.
the higher amount. What else? Home insurance, loan amount. For SFR, that should be 0.35 and 0.25 for condo. And this is applicable as well. The 0.25 is also applicable to PUD or just for the condo alone?
Condo. If
Only
it's
condo.
for PUD, I would put 0.35 as well.
Okay, SFR or PUD. All good. So the first mortgage on your example, that's automatically calculated.
Yes, that this first mortgage is always going to be automatically calculated once you enter the rate, the term,
Mm.
trade value, and the loan amount.
Okay, the note rate, where we should be getting that?
So this note rate should be given to us by the loan officer. They are the ones who
Uh,
run the pricing, and they're the ones that when we are putting in the information, they're the ones who should give us which rate they want to submit the file with. The
all right,
term,
makes sense.
same thing. The
Thank you.
borrower, the LO should let us know whether they're going to do this loan for 30-year fixed, 20-year fixed, and or 15-year fixed, for example. It's going to be part of the ERP.
Gotcha. All good.